Hi Gemini, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your mid-February 2017 video where I'm going to talk a little bit about astrology and a whole lot about your tarot cards. I forgot to mention an astrological transit in your February astrology and didn't catch it until after I'd already uploaded them. So, I'm going to talk about that quickly and then we'll get over to the cards. So, Gemini, why don't you set a spell so we can talk about your stars? On February 27th or 28th, depending on where you live on the planet, we will be experiencing what I'm calling a tug of war in the sky, which is going to feel like an area of tension between two areas of your life under this sign. But I would also recommend checking your moon and rising sign for a more clear picture as to how this might be playing out in your world. Now, we've got the planet Mars, the planet Uranus, and the planetoid Eris in the sign of Aries. Mars is Aries' ruler, and it's the planet that represents energy, impulse, and aggression. Uranus is the planet that represents change, liberation, and rebellion, but it also can mean shocks and surprises. Eris, when it was initially discovered, was named temporarily Xena to represent Xena Warrior Princess, like the 1990 show that was on TV for a while with Lucy Lawless. But it was renamed to Eris. Eris is the goddess of discord and can be looked at as Aries' little sister. And this energy is in your 11th house, going exactly opposite against Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter is a gas giant, and wherever Jupiter goes, it makes it bigger. And that's for better or for worse. And Jupiter in Libra is occurring in your 5th house. So the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. It's the house of the internet. It's the house of your friends, groups, memberships, teams, associations that you belong to. It also deals with your future wishes, goals, and dreams, your bucket list. And this is in direct opposition to your 5th house, which is ruled by Leo. Or the 5th house is ruled by Leo. And I like to think of that in two different ways. It's the house of sparks, and it's the house that has your fingerprints and DNA all over it because it's where you've got the most skin in the game. Now, the house of sparks is the creative spark, the romantic spark, or the spark of life. This is where you make your babies, this is where you fall in love, and this is where the artist makes his masterpiece. This is also where you go to chill out and relax and seek pleasure amongst your social circles. So there's going to be a tug of war between your friends, groups, memberships, and associations, and your romance, your children, your social life, and your pleasure seeking, possibly even dealing with your creative abilities. Understand that forewarned is forearmed, Gemini, sorry. And this energy is going to bring about a feeling of later regrets, and you can work through this energy and hopefully avoid those later regrets by stopping and counting to 10 in these situations that arise in the later part of the month. Because we're all going to be very sensitive. It's already eclipse season. We're going to be dealing with Venus retrograde starting at the very beginning of March. So there's a lot going on. We're going to be feeling very sensitive in many different areas of life. But count to 10. Try to remain as grounded as possible and use the energy or else it will use you. And a really good way for Geminis to use this energy would be to possibly... There was one other sign that I said to get it on with their lover, and it's because of where it was happening. The 5th house is also where you make your babies. Well, you may not be trying to make a baby, but you can definitely do some practice. And that would help with the energy. It would help use that Martian energy to where it's being used in a proactive manner. Because if you're not doing something physically active that would wear you out physically, will probably manifest in like arguments and aggression in your world and between your friends, or even in online dealings, possibly blowing up at your kids or the people that you run with in your social circles. So, also, please be aware that this energy can make it very, very volatile, and there may be confrontations, there could be escalations, there could be arguments, and there also is a probability of eruptions, and this can be eruptions in your personal world, but also in the world around you. That can be in society, politically, pardon me, or geophysically through like earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. I follow 2 different channels on YouTube that deal with earthquake forecasting. The first is Suspicious Observers. He's really good at pointing out the location of the strike zone. And there's another channel named Diatrinium, I believe is how it's pronounced. I think the individual that runs this channel is either Swiss or Danish. That's my guess. It's not an educated or a fully educated guess, but that's my hypothesis. But he uses the actual planetary alignments to forecast the magnitude of earthquakes. And he's had a very good success record since I've been following him. One other thing of note. If you are dealing with anyone who has strong Aries, Scorpio, or Aquarius energy, there may be headaches, migraines, or issues with the head present during this time as well. And it's interesting that I said Aquarius. Aquarius rules that 11th house where you're having this tension. So, forewarned is forearmed, Gemini. Now, let's transition over to the cards. Before I get started shuffling, I'm going to show you this Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck box. I'm going to pull a card from this deck. I'm also going to pull a card from the Divine Circus Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And I'll also be pulling a card from the Healing and Meditation Oracle deck as well. I'm going to use this time right now, Gemini, to remind you that this is a general reading, meaning that it may not resonate for some of you, and that's perfectly fine, because you have a little bit of each zodiac sign in you, in your chart. Some areas are much more stronger than others, and you may be getting more resonant messages through your moon or rising sign readings for the month. You're not always going to resonate with your sun sign, is what I'm trying to say. So, to find out your moon and rising sign, you can Google the words free natal chart and fill out the information. They're going to ask for your birthplace, your birth time, and your birth date. Use accurate, exact information, because it's going to generate a chart to show where the planets were when you were born, and you want an accurate chart so you can have an accurate reading. Once you've generated that birth chart, there are different YouTube tutorials or online tutorials that show you how to read your birth chart and help you figure out where your ascendant or rising sign and your moon sign are. But if you've gone through those things and you're confused, you still can't figure it out, or you're having a hard time, you can send me a screenshot of that natal chart to sweettastro@gmail.com. and I will get back to you as soon as possible with those placements. I'm not going to do any charging. People have been asking me if there's a fee associated with that. No. I mean, you can donate to my channel if you want to. That'd be super awesome. But I just feel like that's information everybody should know. So you can watch the videos not only associated with my channel, but from other readers as well, because by all means, there are different messages that come through different readers. But many of y'all already know that. You see themes that arise month to month in different videos, hopefully. But Not any sort of real repetition, I would hope. Okay, Gemini. I'm going to pull the bottom card to represent the underlying theme or the overarching energy for this reading. The top card represents the present situation. The second card represents the past. The third will represent the possible obstacle. The fourth will represent the possible help. And the fifth will represent the possible outcome. Next, I will be using the Healing and Meditation Oracle deck for my Gemini viewers and friends. My oldest son is a Gemini rising, and I have my natal Venus in Gemini. So I love to talk, and I love to give as much information as I can, and I think the Geminis really appreciate that, the ones that watch anyways. Now from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. Pardon me. February is a pretty busy month in the sky. Venus, where she is right now, we will be revisiting as she goes retrograde and goes back into Pisces. That retrograde motion will be going on between your 11th and 10th houses. She'll go from the 11th to the 10th back into the 11th. This deck is the Divine Circus Oracle by Elena Fairchild. I love the artwork on the back. It reminds me of the American Horror Story Freak Show series. I really like that series. I really like those stories, but I'm a Scorpio rising and I like that kind of creepy stuff. The other thing that will be making us very sensitive are the eclipses that we're going to be experiencing throughout the month of February. The first is going to be a lunar eclipse at 22 degrees of Leo in your 3rd house. And the second eclipse is going to be a solar eclipse at 8 degrees of Pisces occurring in your 10th house. We'll talk more about that if the cards bring it forth, because I kind of spoke about that in your February video that's already been released. So, what I'm going to do now, dear Gemini, is hit the pause button, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. Hi, Gemini. I'm back with your cards. So let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy for this reading is the King of Pentacles. Pardon me. This king is a mature earth sign energy that is, could possibly be a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. This individual is very concerned about his money, his resources, his possessions, and the things that are close, near, and dear to him. But he's stable. He's a provider. He can be very serious and career-oriented or business-minded. Probably very good with his money and possibly with other people's money as well. This could represent a banker. Or, just feeling like you are on top of your financial game. The focus could be your money, resources, earning ability, or self-esteem. It could also be dealing with your daily agenda. It could be dealing with work, career, status. If it's not your money or your relationships, then it could be your resources, but those are still things that are very important to you. And you're one of the biggest resources that you have that nobody really ever really takes much. You take it for granted until you're sick. And your health is the biggest resource that you have. Without your health, you can't do anything else. As I say that, I cough, right? So, the card that represents the present for you is the King of Swords. And I think this is you, Gemini. The swords represent air sign energy. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And this individual knows the facts of the situation at hand and isn't afraid to debate, argue, or advocate on their behalf or what they see or believe is right. This individual is also, could be like a surgeon or someone who is, who cuts for their profession. Surgeon, hairstylist, or like I said, possible lawyer, something to that effect. I feel like this is definitely speaking to this being the Gemini reading, or dealing with someone who is an expert in their field that deals with cutting or slicing in some way. Now, the card that represents the past for you is the Nine of Wands. The 9 represents the Sagittarius world house of your worldview expanded through study or travel. This is through higher education, long-distance trips, adventures or questing, the study of foreign languages, philosophy, religion, astrology, legal system matters, political system matters. It also speaks to foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. The wands represent fire sign energy, and the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You are having a full moon at 22 degrees of Leo in your 3rd house. Could be communication. Could be dealing with your short distance trips, your siblings, your cousins, your neighbors, or your neighborhood. I really see this as a card of, think of running from someone that you're trying to get away from, and you stop to catch your breath because you think you've lost them, and it's giving you an opportunity to stop, catch your breath, turn around, look, see if anybody's behind you, that sort of thing. It's a defensive card as well. Holding this wand the way that this character is holding it indicates not only that it's been used possibly as a crutch, but as a means of defense as well. It could be reassessing your boundaries or the issues at hand. If this is speaking to that lunar eclipse in the 3rd house, it may be that somebody hasn't been maintaining their boundaries, and you could be injured, because this little head wrap up here shows a head injury. Like, this is a card of recovery. Is another thing. It's which is like catching your breath and checking back. It's a recovery card, but it's like cautious recovery. The card that represents the obstacle at hand is the Devil card. Don't freak out, Gemini. These are just pictures on a card. This is the 15th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 5 is 6, and that speaks to the Virgo world house of your day-to-day agenda, your work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. The things that you do on the daily that make your life easier and run more efficiently as well. This card, as a Major Arcana card, is representative of the zodiac sign of Capricorn. And that's a sign that's known for its persistence and determination, being very serious, focused, very business-minded. This card deals with confronting your self-imposed limitations or dealing with addictions. Addiction can be anything from shopping, overeating, to exercising, sex, porn, masturbation, cleaning. I mean, we're all obsessive about some things, and then other things are addictions that are just flat out bad for us. You can be addicted to another person. You can be in a codependent relationship. The obstacle could be that as well. Capricorn rules the 10th house. The 10th house is, how I like to think of it, is William Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage. And I consider the 10th house the stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. It's your career, your status, your reputation. It's how you deal with authorities in your world, in your life, and authorities in their field, like experts, a lawyer, a doctor, surgeon, dentist. It's also the house of destiny. But the obstacle could be your reputation. The obstacle could be your career. The obstacle could be your status. The obstacle could be that you're obsessing about your significant other and wanting to take your relationship to the next level, and they're not interested in that yet, or that's not what they want. It's a situation where you've given your power away to someone or something. Possibly in work, possibly in health, possibly in your day-to-day life. Could be a Capricorn, or it could be involving a Capricorn. That can be their sun, their moon, or their rising sign. You won't know that information unless they've shared it with you or you know their birth chart. The card that represents the help is the 10 of Pentacles, and this is interesting because that 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. So the obstacle is Capricorn, and the help is Capricorn. The obstacle is probably the addiction, and the help is probably being very serious and laser focus minded on business, reputation, career, the coins that you're putting in the bank. Another interesting thing is the solar eclipse that we will be experiencing in Pisces is in the 10th house for you. So that's new growth, that's new sparks of life, that's new energy coming in at the 25th or 26th, and these eclipses have a 6-month duration time. So the closer you are to having a planet or your ascendant or very strong angles at 8 degrees of Pisces, the stronger this will be for you. But it still has a 6-month reverberation period, like I said. Okay. The pentacles represent earth sign energy. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Like I said, Capricorn's very, very strong in this reading. The underlying theme or overarching energy is the King of Pentacles, which could be a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. We've got the Capricorn down here in the obstacle, representative in the Devil card. And now we've got this 10 of Pentacles, representative of that 10th house that Capricorn rules, which is where your solar eclipse is occurring at 8 degrees of Pisces. This is the most coins you can have in the deck. The next card is the Page, and he has 1 coin in his hand. This is a card of either generational wealth or familial wealth, or feeling as though you have everything that you need and the time and the luxury to enjoy what you have worked for. This is taking care of everyone. This is taking care of your parents, extra dogs, a big family, and having the resources at hand to be able to sustain and support that. Could be that you're going to be getting a new opportunity and career in some way, or your status or your reputation. Might be that, for one lucky Gemini, there might be a lottery win. Could be that there are some Geminis that are going in on a Powerball ticket or something, and y'all hit the Powerball, but it's like 20 people, and you've got to split it, and now everybody's, the greed is starting to come out. It's just, I don't know why I thought of that. I've never thought of an example like that, and if that's the case, please comment down below, because that would be so interesting, 1, but 2, wow, congratulations, the whole 9. Because Jupiter being in Libra in that 5th house, the 5th house is the house of gambling and winning, like lottery winnings. So Jupiter being there would be a good thing. I wouldn't go spending every dollar that I had on a lottery ticket, but every once in a while, or putting $1 in the slot machine, maybe. Luck might be on your side. Now, the card that represents the possible outcome of the situation is the Eight of Swords. The 8 represents that Scorpio-ruled house of life, death, and rebirth, that entire cycle, the circle of life, if you will. It's transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. It's also your instincts, be them primal, basic, or human. It governs other people's money, and it also speaks to sexuality. The swords are air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This is very much a card of being imprisoned in the mind, or being imprisoned by your own limitations, imprisoned by your addictions. This is a prison of your own doing. And you can undo it, but you have to shake the shackles off and shake your blindfold off and walk out, because there's nothing keeping you in this cell. You do have Pluto transiting your 8th house. That is a long transit through the 8th house, Gemini. That's the house of life, death, and rebirth, and deep transformation, and metamorphosis, and regeneration. It's sexuality and other people's money. Very Scorpionic house. Pluto is very deep transformation. It's deep change. It's deep renewal. When I try to explain a Plutonic change, it's something that occurs all the time, but we don't notice, see, or recognize unless we've got a meta, ascended, or aerial view of the situation. Much like coastal erosion. You don't see the effects until you're looking at a before and after, or you're comparing a before picture to what you're seeing from an aerial view, which would be the after. So you may be going through a deep transformative period. You could be understanding that you've been in a prison of your own mind, and you may decide to shake those shackles off, Gemini. And if that's the case, congratulations. Celebrate your freedom. It doesn't have to be a situation in a relationship. It can be in a partnership, in business, or even a friendship. It could just be you're dealing with the realization that you're dealing with a toxic bond, and you know that you're going to have to cut these cords, and the cords are what's wound around you. It's really dependent on each individual situation, Gemini. I feel like there's a lot of fire sign energy in that individual that feels as though they're being bound in one way or another. I did the tarot math for you, and it ended up being 42. 2 plus 4 is 6. That speaks to that 6th house where Virgo rules of your day-to-day agenda, the daily to-do list, and what you do to make your life easier on a daily basis. It's your work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. You are not having any long-term 6th house transits, but that doesn't mean that it isn't playing out in some way with your work or health, especially when we're looking at the solar eclipse playing out in that career, or that house of your career, your status, and your reputation. So, forewarned is forearmed, y'all. Let's move on to the oracle cards. The card that I pulled for you from the Healing and Meditation deck was Positive Thinking. Now, whenever I see a sunflower, I think of the Sun card in the Major Arcana of the Tarot deck. And that card is, well, it's reflective of the Sun. The Sun will be moving into Pisces in mid-month, right before the solar eclipse. At the time of this recording, the Sun is still in Aquarius. But the Sun rules the zodiac sign of Leo. And we're having that lunar eclipse in Leo. So you may be dealing with some communication issues. This can be your phone, your communication devices, the way that you speak, the way people hear you, the way you digest and consume information. It could also be dealing with your siblings, cousins, neighbors, or people in your neighborhood. But have positive thinking when coming and dealing with these people in your world. Consider the following, Gemini. There are all sorts of situations in which positive thinking can bring an advantage. During an illness or after an injury, for example, or when you've suffered a trauma or setback at work or in your home life. Consider this. May the bad things that have happened be purged from my thoughts. May I not indulge in resentment, blame, or hurt. May my life be free from destructive patterns, habits, and careless acts. I shall focus my attention on creation and renewal. If you're recuperating from a disease or recovering from the consequences of an accident, you may be confined to the bed, and this would be a perfect time to practice this meditation. But really, it can be useful in any challenging circumstance that you may face, Gemini. And you're generally positive thinking souls, so that would be an easy mindset to adopt. From the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle card deck, I pulled for you the Rainbow Moonstone card. This deals with optimism. Hello, positive thinking. It deals with optimism, vitality, and inner peace. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of your third eye and crown chakra. It reads, Rainbow Moonstone awakens the rainbow body of light within, kindling your life force energy and spreading harmony throughout the aura. You've pulled this card because you're in need of enthusiasm, self-appreciation, and deeper alignment. So meditate with Rainbow Moonstone to embrace inner peace, achieve chakra alignment, and experience newfound joy in life. From the Divine Circus Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, I pulled for you Clown of Crossroads. This is the 32nd card. 3 plus 2 is 5, and that's that Leo ruled house, bringing up Leo again. The Leo house is the 5th house, but this lunar eclipse is occurring for you in the 3rd house. That's that communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors. Be careful in the car, Gemini. Just be careful. Be careful. The way that you speak, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with people close to you may change due to this lunar eclipse. So, the Clown of the Crossroads is indicating that opportunity is on its way to finding you. But it's going to require you letting go of what you have now. And it depends on the opportunity that's coming as to what you've got to let go of. And you're going to know what I'm talking about. It indicates that it's time to make a choice now. Because you're seeing patterns and you're wanting them to either end or you're wanting to change them. And if you aren't seeing those patterns now, you will be soon seeing them. It's an invitation to honor your truth, acknowledge your losses, and to be grateful for the experiences and lessons that they brought you. But recognize that new chapters inherently require endings. You'll know when the time is right to close old doors and when to walk through new open doors. The Clown of the Crossroads is indicating that it's a time for you to prepare yourself because you're soon going to be experiencing a trust fall where you will, if you imagine, and it's been parodied and satirized in many different comedies where people will do a trust fall as a team building exercise where somebody stands on an elevated platform and the group members hold their arms out to catch the individual that's falling. And anyways, you're going to have to trust in that opportunity and either decide that it's for you or not. This card is indicating, though, that you need to make a choice, that you can no longer try to juggle more than one. So, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed that reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I hope that you're well. Please be kind to yourself, and please save some kindness for all those people around you, because we're all going through some pretty private things in our life some of us may never speak about to another soul. We're all going to be feeling very sensitive because of eclipse season. And following up eclipse season, we've got that Venus retrograde. It's going to be some interesting times. We're going to be feeling the echoes for a little while. Count to 10, remain grounded, employ your self-care measures. I hope to get this video out to you soon so that I can start on that next series. But I just started back to school too, so I'm trying to juggle all of my normal obligations on top of trying to keep y'all informed and maintaining a GPA. Wish me luck, y'all. I'll see you soon. But until then, take care, namaste, and bye, Gemini.